Coming. Coming. I saw him. Okay. Good afternoon to everybody. Добрый день всем. We are starting our special event from European Parliament here in Brussels with all the participants from Belarus and from Lithuania and from other countries. I would like to welcome all of you in this solidarity event with people of Belarus, which we call Time for Change. Дорогие друзья, дорогие товарищи, мы начинаем наш специальное мероприятие «Солидарность с людьми Беларуси. Время для перемен». I will speak in English. My name is Andrius Kubilius. I am a member of European Parliament from Lithuania. And first of all, just a few technical remarks. I will speak, as I said, in English, but here is translation. You can find on your screens possibility to listen Russian or Belarusian interpretation. And also this event is organized by EU Neighborhood East Forum, which we have here in the European Parliament, together with our partners from Belarus, Nash Dom, Khartia 97, и Vesna. Also, this event is streamed on Facebook of those organizations. Well, first of all, I would like to announce that we shall have our event in 3 parts. The first part, I am very happy to see my colleagues from European Parliament who will show, their solidarity with people of Belarus. That is our aim. Second part, we shall listen to people from Belarus with possibility to have on this Zoom event a lot of very important representatives of civil organizations, business, cultural people. And the last part will be devoted to special community of rock stars, both from Lithuania and Belarus. Because what we see now in Belarus, really, it reminds, at least for us who came from Baltic states, from Lithuania, it reminds us what we have seen back in 1988, 1999, 1990, when we had what we called singing revolution. Really, we see that a lot of people in Belarus are demanding in an open way possibility to vote for change in forthcoming presidential elections on 9th of August. They are doing it in a very brave and open way, starting from people from cultural elite who are doing it on YouTube. Rock stars are doing with their songs. Ordinary people are going into the streets. And that is what we would like to support with our clear words and clear language. Now I will ask my colleagues from European Parliament to say what they want to say. No, really, we are really. Yesterday we had a special plenary debate on Belarus, and statements which were made were very clear, and both of solidarity with Belarusian people, but also very clear messages to President Lukashenko and his surrounding, that if really Belarusian people will not have the right to express their wish for change, if candidates, major competitors will stay in prison, if political prisoners will not be allowed to go out from the prison, then of course we speak about sanctions, about personal sanctions, which will be unavoidable. Now I would like to ask, first of all, Michael Gahler, who is from EPP group and who is our coordinator in Foreign Affairs Committee and who also is very well-known German politician. Michael, can you say a few words?
Yes,
and 5 minutes to each of you.
He's rolling his eyes.
Yes, thank you very much. And dear listeners, dear watchers, my name is Michael Gahler. I'm a member of the European Parliament, and I would like to convey a very clear message. First of all, you are not forgotten. You are a part of Europe, and we have noted your aspirations, and I think in the 21st century you deserve, as all of us, a free choice of your government and your president. And this is a clear message that is conveyed to those in charge in the country. And to the president of the country, who is running again, I clearly say, release all political prisoners, allow all who want to stand in the elections, allow the OSCE through ODIHR to observe the elections, and allow for a free campaign throughout the country. These are the clear messages that we convey to the leadership of this country, and I think that the president and the authorities owe to their own citizens, who have made it very clear that they would like to make a choice, an informed choice for their new leadership. Insofar, we have a lot to offer as European Union in the cooperation with, in principle, with all our Eastern neighborhood countries. They have a choice how much they want to engage. We are open to more engagement also with Belarus, and that is why we watch what is happening, and that is why we support all those who stand for a more open, for a more democratic society. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Michael. Now I would like to ask our colleague Siegfried Muresan from Romania, who is also Vice President of EPP Group here in our European Parliament. Siegfried, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Andrus. Firstly, I would like to thank you for organizing this dialogue today between the people of Belarus and Europe, because we are here to convey messages, to be close to the people of Belarus, but we are also here today to listen to the people of Belarus, because Belarus is a European country, and I want the people of Belarus to have the same chance to live in security and in prosperity as the other citizens in Europe have. And the first thing that I would like to say is I would like to express full solidarity with the people of Belarus who are speaking up, who are fighting for values, for European values, for their rights, for democratic rights, for their freedom to express themselves, for freedom of the press. This is the right thing to do, and we are by your side. Your calls are legitimate, they are articulate, they are strong, and they are fully in a European spirit. This is why I fully support this. I'm a member of the European Parliament coming from Romania. Elected in Romania, I was born in communist Romania. When I was 8, the Iron Curtain fell. So we felt then, as we feel today with Belarus, that time for change is coming. But change was not immediate, it was not fast. What I want to say is that the fight for your rights, for democracy, is a long fight. And also in my country, change was not overnight. Even 2-3 years ago, when we had a socialist government in power, they were trying to control the judiciary, stop the fight against corruption. So the reaction of the people was immediate. People went to the streets in big numbers, 500, 600,000 people all over the streets of Romania with the flag, with the European flag in their hand to fight for their rights, and they gained the appreciation of all of Europe. So the same is valid for you, dear friends, in Belarus. The fight is long, and what is important is that you speak up before elections, but also after elections. And irrespective of the result of the elections, the fight continues. Even if the result of the election is the one that you would be hoping for, still, you know, it's not like everything is achieved overnight. In view of the elections, I would just like to say that I condemn all of the violent actions against peaceful people, against peaceful protesters, and all of the unjustified actions towards opposition candidates. The president, the governing authorities should not control opposition candidates. A country in which the president controls the government and wants to control the opposition is not a democracy anymore. So they should be allowed the candidacies of whoever wants to run, a multitude of opinions, debates, because this is what defines a democracy. And as far as we are concerned from Europe, we want to see the people of Belarus as close as possible to the European Union and to the people of Europe. We have a lot to offer. Europe is there by the side of the people of Belarus. The support coming from Europe is concrete, is immediate, and the more the Belarusian authorities are ready to cope with Europe and respect European values, the more the benefits for the people of Belarus will be. Thank you very much, and we're here to listen to you.
Thanks, Sigrid. Now I turn to Petras Auštrevičius, our colleague from Lithuania, who represents here Renew Group, the liberal Renew Group. And Petras also is a standing rapporteur on Belarus in our Foreign Affairs Committee in the European Parliament. Please, Petras, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andrius. Thank you all for taking part in this important debate. And of course, those who listen to us and follow this report. Sebry Беларуси. Should I say this? I mean, approaching our friends in Belarus. And of course, Belarus once again on the spot. Once again, it noticed from Europe, from world around, that some things going on in Belarus. Things are not as they've been before. And why is that? Because people in Belarus are disillusioned. They're disappointed, and they're very unhappy with the state of play in this European country. Country which is surrounded by more than 1,000 kilometers common border with the European Union, common history, culture, lots of people-to-people contacts. And people have a different vision for this country. People believe that Belarus might follow a very good example of many neighbors, of European countries choosing a democratic path, developing market economy, socially based, as well as having rule of law. It does not correspond probably to the vision of 26 years already ruling Alexander Lukashenko. He wants, once again, to be a leader, to be a boss of this country. And people don't like it. People want to have a change, a different choice, a choice to decide. So that's why, from the very start of election campaign, from May this year, we see very many activities going on in Belarus, in different parts of Belarus, not just in Minsk, as it was quite a phenomenon before. Now people in Belarus are taking to the streets. They're having rallies. They have debates. They collect signatures. And of course, the ruling elite in Belarus, they don't like it. They try to intimidate. They try to prosecute. They try to restrict basic freedoms and rights of citizens. For the time being, we have too many in prisons. We have Nikolai Statkevich. We have Pavel Severinets. We have many people detained before who spent some time in custody. And all that happens because of the political reasons. Those people didn't commit any crimes. Those people simply believe that by constitution they're given rights to run for the president of Republic of Belarus, to be elected, to have a possibility to see citizens having open and transparent elections. No, somebody in Belarus don't like to see elections. They want to have selected president for Belarus. That's why in the European Union, in the Western world, we are standing together with the opposition, with bloggers, independent journalists, activists, those who want to see a different political and economic climate in Belarus. And believe me, these are not just words. I am strongly in favor of not supporting anymore see and wait policy line of the European Union. We need a different policy line towards Belarus. We need a comprehensive strategy which must be employed by European Union to support, to facilitate democratization of this country. No democracy, no economy. It's a clear message, I mean, from my side. We see many good examples of European Union countries and European countries which have chosen that path, and they really benefited. People become more beneficial and benefits gaining side in this regard. So that's why today's situation in Belarus does not correspond to our expectations and to the needs of Belarusian people. Again, my message about security. For the time being, Belarus becomes a threat to the stability and security of the European Union. Not just because Belarusian authorities continuously deny coronavirus, and they do nothing in opposite. I mean, they invite people to come on the streets and to have public gatherings. It goes against health and well-being of people. And again, I have to admit that construction of the Ostrovets nuclear power state plant constitutes a clear risk to European citizens. And we will not be silent on this. It's a responsibility, a former mistake made by Mr. Lukashenko. Now he has to pay, and he has to take into account our concerns. Otherwise, will be no favorable policy line from our side. And of course, my message to Belarusians, believe in change. It doesn't come over the night. It comes sometimes with time, but you have to be sure that we stand on your side. And we believe that Belarus has a different path, a different perspective. Remember, Pogonia is our common symbol. And Pogonia is a peaceful knight, but fights those who are against human values and, in fact, those things who present our lives. So believe in it, and you always have partners and friends in Europe. Живе Belarus!
Живе Belarus! And now I would like to ask to make a statement, Madame Viola von Kramon, from Greens, from European Parliament, and real fighter for human rights, democracy, and real elections, you know, in all our region. So Viola, please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Andreas, for organizing this great event. I'm really, really glad to be part of this great group of activists and committed people concerning Belarus, but also concerning the Eastern Partnership area in general. As you have heard, we had yesterday a strong plenary session for the rights of the people, of the citizen of Belarus. That was already a big proof that you have friends, that you have supporters, that you have people who will never forget you and who will stand by you with all the solidarity we can send from Brussels, from the European Parliament. When I was younger, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I went to Belarus many times, and what I've experienced was a European society. There's a youth, there were people just like we, I mean, European citizens, as we all are. You are part of our European family, and we have to show you this while we try to bring you into the European family, also to the European institution, and also at some point, hopefully, as a member of the European Union. Even we know this will be a longer path than maybe in other cases, but nevertheless, we have started with a lot of programs, with many different funds, assistance, and so on. Seeing what is ahead of you, the upcoming elections on the 9th of August, the 9th of August, it would be, I think, essential and of utmost importance that we see there is an election in general, that you have a choice. We have seen people standing in queues for hours to get their signatures registered, to have a possibility to express the political will. I have been chief election observers last time to Kosovo, and I know how important it is for transparent, inclusive, fair election. And we really hope that after 26 years of having one president in office, now it is the time for a change, and now is the time for having a real kind of an election. And we did everything, or we do everything, to make sure that at least we will see a full-fledged OSCE ODIHR observation mission to Belarus, no matter there is coronavirus or not. I think this is one demand and one crucial point which our European Union High Representative can implement. And this is what the president of your country should accept. The second thing, which was also mentioned by all of my colleagues, is the immediate release of all political prisoners, which are mainly either activists or the candidates themselves. There is no acceptance from our side to see people without any criminal background sitting in custody, being tortured in a KGB manner. This is absolutely unbelievable, seeing this happening within the center of Europe. And of course, I see there's really a soft power coming from Belarus. We see the rock music, which Andreas has included in his event here. We see the young generation partly studying in the European Union. You are the ambassadors, you are the young ambassadors of your country, and we see the desire for the change. And I do understand that you will be our hope also for the political changes for the next political generation. And I can ensure that we, not just from the Green Group, but from all the democratic group here in the European Parliament, will do everything to support you while you strive for this political change in your lovely country. Hopefully we can manage it this time, but otherwise, as Siegfried has said, don't give up. There will be the right time coming at some point, and we will be there as good friends and supporting you whenever that's necessary. Thanks a lot for everyone who has organized and done this lovely event, and hopefully we can celebrate something on the 9th of August or otherwise later. And I'm glad to come back to Minsk, to Brest, or to other places in Belarus.
Well, thanks a lot, Viola. Thanks a lot. And the last statement will be made by video means. Our colleague, Rasa Uknevichne, she was not able to be present during this event, but she left for us, for all of participants of this event, video message. Rasa Uknevichne is also a member of European Parliament from Lithuania, from our EPP group. So please, video.
I would like to express my solidarity with the society with Belarus in English and in Belarusian language. Many people in Belarus does not want to live in the regime that puts people to jail for their civic position. Alexander Lukashenko must understand that there cannot be dictatorship in the middle of the European continent. Political prisoners must be released immediately, and the upcoming elections have to be free. I believe that Belarus will be free. Хочу выказать солидарность з беларускім грамадствам, якое больш не хоче жыць з рэжымам, які саджае людзей у турму за грамадзянскую пазіцыю. Александр Лукашенко павінен разумець, што ў цэнтры еўрапейскага кантыненту не павінна быць дыктатуры. За окном 21 стагоддзе. Я рада, что обучается молодь. Белорусы заслужили право жить у европейской демократии. Політичныя вязни маюць быць неадкладна вызваленыя, а выборы павінны пройти свободно. Беларусь будзе волной.
Well, thanks to Rasa. Really, that was important statement, even in Belarusian language. And that is how we are coming to the end of the first part of our event. Really, I would like to thank my colleagues for their statements of solidarity. That was how we are trying to show our solidarity from our hearts, from our political positions, and that is where we can remember, how in our region, in Belarus, in Ukraine, in Lithuania, in Poland, we were speaking out, starting from 19th century, for your freedom and our freedom. And that is what we are repeating now. Your freedom is very important for us. Freedom to express your will for change, your wish for change for different Belarus. That is also our goal, to support you in that really request for change. And I would also say that besides our support to the demand of change, besides our support in demanding that political prisoners should be released, also this event is allowing everybody who would like to support even financially those who are suffering under authoritarian regime to use platforms which we shall speak later on, established crowdfunding platforms. And if you will decide to support, financially, you can look into our website, EU Neighborhood East Forum, and here will be the link which you will be able to use. Now we are moving into second part of our event, into our into that part where we shall listen to what our friends from Belarus will say. And really, I'm very happy that together with our Belarusian partners, as I mentioned before, with different civil organizations, we are able to have this panel of civil society activists, journalists, bloggers, people from media portals, even from business, cultural activists and musicians, who are bravely showing their determination to speak openly. And now we shall have somewhere around of 9 or 10 representatives from Belarus, and I will ask each of them to speak up to 4 or 5 minutes. And we shall start, and I will ask everybody really to present himself. Some of those who will speak we know very well, but some are new people for us at least. And that's why really it would be very good if you will say a few words about your activities. The first representative from Belarus, which we would like to ask to speak, is our well-known fighter for human rights, Alex Beletsky from Human Rights Center Vesna. Please, Alex.
Добрый день, дорогие друзья. Я надеюсь, вы меня слышите. Мы очень благодарны за то внимание, которое депутаты Европейского парламента в последние недели уделяют трагической ситуации с правами человека, которая разворачивается сейчас во время избирательной кампании в Беларуси. Эта избирательная кампания очередной раз, но наиболее ясно показала, насколько белорусское общество, миллионы белорусских граждан на самом деле желают демократических перемен. Но власти пробуют удержать свои полномочия любым способом, и практически когда-то легитимная власть сейчас превратилась в клику, которая противоставляет свои действия желанию белорусского народа. Мы сейчас видим уже 2 месяца, как разворачивается избирательная кампания, и потом, как сформированы участковые комиссии, они уже сформированы, и туда практически не пустили никого из представителей демократических политических партий или же команд кандидатов, альтернативных Лукашенко, уже видно, что готовятся массовые фальсификации. Власти боятся, что эти фальсификации вызовут еще большее недовольство белорусского народа. Поэтому сейчас развернулись, загодя, можно сказать, превентивно массовые репрессии, которые происходят в Беларуси практически каждый день. По мнению белорусских правозащитников, сейчас 21 человек за последние 2 месяца стали политическими заключенными, и они ожидают приговоров в уголовных тюрьмах, в тяжелых условиях. 129 человек были осуждены административно, причем под эти репрессии попадают как члены команд кандидатов в кандидаты, так и политические активисты и простые граждане. 129 человек были осуждены административно, и некоторые из них, как, например, Павел Северинец, в общей сложности получили более 100 дней заключения. 252 человека были оштрафованы. Они также прошли через суды, и суммы этих штрафов составляют десятки тысяч евро. Но то внимание, которому уделяет Европейский парламент, европейские депутаты, также Еврокомиссия ситуации к Беларуси, очень важно для судьбы политических заключенных. Мы призываем оказать любое легальное давление, применить любые легальные инструменты для того, чтобы в Беларуси не было политических заключенных. Как когда-то в 2010 году, мы помним, также несколько десятков человек после выборов 2010 года находились в тюрьме. Но они власти были вынуждены их выпустить после того, как Европейский парламент, США обратили внимание на эту ситуацию. И мы также призываем к солидарности тем, кто находится сейчас под репрессиями. Общее количество людей, которые пострадали за последние 2 месяца, уже более 700 человек по нашим подсчетам. Это людей выгоняют с работы и из учебы, преследуют самым различным другим способом, и это число все время увеличивается. До выборов остался еще месяц. И очень важно в этот месяц, несмотря на то, что это летний месяц, сделать все возможное, чтобы в Беларуси не было политических заключенных. Спасибо большое за вашу солидарность, и мы надеемся, что из этой тяжелой ситуации мы выйдем все-таки с хорошими перспективами. Спасибо.
Now I am inviting Franek Večorka, activist and journalist, if he is present on our Zoom conference.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. So I would focus more on the media side and the media situation. Currently, we are observing the crackdown on Belarus media sphere, and we are talking not just about traditional media outlets or newspapers or websites, but bloggers, and especially influencers on YouTube and Telegram. So basically, we know currently that at least 8 bloggers, influencers are currently in jail. We know about more than 20 that had to flee the country because of the potential repressions and criminal persecution. And we also know that government managed to take control over several Telegram channels and groups and accounts. And what they do, they're trying to delete subscribers from these channels and from these accounts. So the end goal is just to paralyze the content distribution. Initially, government Lukashenko underestimated the importance of these channels, This is why so many people came to the streets during the collection of signatures. This is why so many people joined the chains, the human chains in Minsk downtown. YouTube of Tikhanovsky, YouTube Country for Life, Telegram channels by Belarus of the Brain Network, My Country Belarus, they mobilized people for this protest. And empowered by live streams of Radio Free Europe, this created this critical mass never seen by Belarus society. Before, it was mobilization by political parties, democratic institutions. Now this is a result of the Telegram and YouTube mobilization. What we have to prepare right now, we have to save the infrastructure. If government will manage to destroy the Telegram networks, the pages, channels, accounts by independent YouTube bloggers, we will stay in darkness. We already witnessed several examples of shutdowns during the human chains and the protests. And it's very likely that during the next protests and during the electoral night, we will not be online at all. So for us, for the civil society, for media, for us, it's very important to develop the backup plan and to get support in terms of expertise, in terms of technical solutions from other countries and other international institutions working in this field, such as the Access Now, such as Stratcom, such as Global Engagement Center in the United States, all those working on circumvention and countering censorship in all its forms. In addition to that, the importance of observation and importance of journalism, international journalist presence, is evident. Government tries to keep these elections not visible, not exposed to the foreign audiences, and to keep these elections internal issue of Lukashenko and the society. But our goal is to make all kinds of falsifications, of manipulations with the signatures, manipulations with the ballots, manipulations with the squads of electoral committees visible, to make them present in international foreign media. So the big demand, the big request is to send observers so much as possible and to multiply the information about all kinds of violations of electoral and other rights. And the third point will be identity, national identity. It's very important to use this moment of societal mobilization of Belarusians, of people who never participated in the social life and joined this campaign because of the new faces like Babarika, Tikhanovsky, Tsapkala, and others, because of the social platforms. We need to keep them in this area, in the sphere of Belarus national interest. So this is why it's very important to propagate Belarus language, Belarus independence, Belarus sovereignty. There is a consensus in the society about the Belarus independence, but I think in Belarus society there is no understanding and energy and scenario, strategy, how to protect, how to defend this independence. And this is what we all together, including political parties, civil society activists, and media, should develop. National identity, concept, and vision, which will help us to protect from potential interference of Russia or Russian agents. I will stop here.
Thanks a lot, Franek. Thanks a lot. And now we are moving to next speaker. And I'm very happy to announce Pavel Belavus from Symbol special souvenir shop, which became very famous all over the world, because of recent events. Pavel, please, floor is yours.
Добрый день. Меня зовут Павел Белаус, я руководитель компании «Симбольбай», а также общественный активист, один из представителей команды БНР-100. Это та команда, которая в 2018 году организовала масштабное празднование столетия провозглашения независимости Белорусской Народной Республики. Сейчас я нахожусь как раз-таки в нашем магазине, который уже почти две недели не работает из-за просто невероятного количества проверок, которые обрушились за нас, за то, что мы попытались высказать какую-то свою политическую позицию. Но я сейчас хочу говорить не об этом, я в первую очередь хочу говорить о том, чем в данной ситуации нам может помочь Европейский Союз, какой мы ждем помощи от вас. У меня большая просьба и европейских депутатов, и чиновников, и представителей СМИ не оставлять нас в данной ситуации одних, потому что сейчас происходит, эта избирательная кампания просто беспрецедентная, рекордная по количеству тех фальсификаций и давления, которое оказывается. Это с одной стороны. С другой стороны, она рекордная по той солидарности и по той активности, которую высказывают люди. Благодаря новым медиа, благодаря цифровизации населения Беларуси, люди ощутили и увидели альтернативу. И, к примеру, около 1 миллиона подписей в общем целом собрали независимые кандидаты, легальных, нефальсифицированных подписей за свое выдвижение. В результате, вот в понедельник будет известно, но по моим ощущениям, вряд ли кто-то из реальных кандидатов, из реальных конкурентов будет зарегистрирован. Поэтому я прошу, читая в европейских СМИ, что ОБСЕ отказывается приезжать наблюдать за нашими выборами, и это совершенно неправильно. В этом году, я считаю, ОБСЕ должно направить максимальное количество наблюдателей на наши выборы, представителей европейских стран, чтобы реально увидеть ту жесткую ситуацию, ту просто невероятное количество фальсификаций, которые сейчас происходят еще до момента регистрации кандидатов. Поэтому я прошу людей, которые влияют на принятие этих решений, все-таки прислушаться и услышать нас, и отправить как никогда максимальное количество наблюдателей, потому что это один из немногих вариантов, один из немногих шансов, чтобы доказать и чтобы показать, что в нашей стране, в Беларуси, просто нету реальных выборов. И все, что совершается, это в том числе криминальные, уголовные преступления. Это одна позиция. Вторая позиция насчет санкций. Читал в СМИ и видел, что рассматривается вопрос об отмене принятого решения о 35 евро для белорусов на европейские визы. Я считаю, что если будут вводиться какие-то санкции или ограничения, это решение о уменьшении цены визы не надо отменять, поскольку эта ситуация, она она не повлияет на режим, а это как раз-таки будет ударом для обычного населения, для обычных белорусов, которые очень позитивно восприняли это решение о уменьшении цены на визы. Поэтому такие меры увеличения вновь цены, они не влияют на режим, на ситуацию в стране. Они бьют по обычным людям, которые хотят посещать европейские страны, которые приезжают и для которых таким образом еще больше будет ограничиться возможность передвижения по Европе. На этом, наверное, я закончу. Еще раз повторюсь, для нас очень важно, чтобы нас не забывали, чтобы мы были в фокусе европейской политики, чтобы о том, что происходит в стране, говорило максимальное количество европейских, международных СМИ. Только в этой ситуации, когда о Беларуси будет говорить весь мир, что-то поменять и помочь нам поменять ситуацию в стране будет реальным. Спасибо.
Спасибо, Pavel. Thanks a lot. Now I am asking Alexei Leonchik, exactly the person who created crowdfunding on Facebook to support political prisoners and their families. Alexei, please go on. I do not see Alexei for time being. Maybe he will join us a little bit later. Then I will ask Natalia Radzina from Charter 97 to speak now. Olga Karach.
Добрый день. I'm Natalia Radzina, the editor-in-chief of Charter 97. It's the most popular Belarusian independent website. I continue on the Russian language. Огромное спасибо, господин премьер. Огромное спасибо, господин премьер-министр, за проведение этого мероприятия. Спасибо депутатам Европарламента за солидарность. Сегодня мы наблюдаем в Беларуси очередную попытку диктатора Лукашенко узурпировать власть. Понимая, что абсолютное большинство народа его сегодня ненавидит, что его рейтинг составляет 3%, Лукашенко развязал репрессии против оппозиции еще до так называемых выборов. В тюрьмах сегодня по сфабрикованным обвинениям находятся и кандидаты в президенты, и лидеры оппозиции, и активисты, а также блогеры. Я бы хотела перечислить фамилии блогеров, которые сегодня оказались в тюрьме. Это Александр Кабанов, Сергей Петрухин, Сергей Тихановский, Владимир Неронский, Игорь Лосик, Дмитрий Козлов, Владимир Цыганович. Эти люди сегодня, как и лидеры оппозиции, кандидаты в президенты, подвергаются беспрецедентному давлению, а также масса свидетельств о том, что их подвергают пыткам. Я призываю депутатов Европарламента обратить внимание на давление, на вот это беспрецедентное давление, которое оказывается и на блогеров, и на лидеров оппозиции, и на активистов. Почему власти боятся блогеров? Потому что они сегодня стали альтернативой медиа, на которых оказывается давление. Этим блогеры на самом деле не боялись говорить правду, рассказывали о том, как на самом деле живут люди в Беларуси, проводили расследования, изобличали власти и действительно мобилизовывали людей, как говорил здесь сегодня Франок Вечерко. Кроме того, в Беларуси продолжается давление на традиционные медиа. Более 2 лет уже блокируется сайт Хартии 97. Это крупнейший независимый ресурс. И я хочу сказать, что его блокировка – это был такой тест для, в общем-то, для Европы. Режим Лукашенко проводил такую репетицию давления, уничтожения свободы слова в интернете и наблюдал за реакцией Евросоюза. Поскольку не были введены санкции за блокировку крупнейшего независимого сайта, давление на интернет в Беларуси продолжилось. И сегодня мы видим, что выносится предупреждение независимым интернет-сайтам и изданиям даже за освещение ситуации с коронавирусом в Беларуси. Есть свидетельства давления на журналистов есть свидетельства журналистов о давлении на редакторов со стороны КГБ. Вот последний скандальный случай, который рассказал журналист «Радио Свобода» Игорь Ильяш о том, что редакторов «Радио Свобода» вызывают в КГБ из-за неугодных материалов, из-за материалов, которые им не нравятся. Угрожают лишать аккредитации журналистов и телеканала «Белсат», и «Радио Свобода», и «Еврорадио». Журналистов арестовывают и избивают во время освещения акций, мирных акций. Пытаются воспрепятствовать проведению онлайн-репортажей, как это происходило с задержанием журналистов «Радио Свобода» или агентства «Рейтерс». Более того, журналистов избивают и сажают под арест, как это произошло в Ганцевичах, где журналистов арестовали во время акции оппозиции и осудили на 15 суток. То есть на самом деле происходит такая тотальная зачистка информационного пространства. И есть угроза, что власти заблокируют не только независимые сайты, но и также социальные сети. Вероятно, также отключение интернета в стране. То есть это уже практиковалось в Минске недавно на одной из мирных акций, когда оператор А1 отключил мобильный интернет пользователям во время одной из акций протеста. Что сделать нужно в этой ситуации? То есть, на мой взгляд, необходимо возобновление санкций против белорусских чиновников, ответственных за репрессии и политические преследования. Необходимо также прекращение финансовой помощи государственным органам Беларуси. Необходимо прекращение торговых отношений с белорусскими государственными предприятиями. В том числе необходимо введение санкций против парка высоких технологий за цензуру СМИ и давление на свободу слова в Беларуси. Спасибо.
Спасибо, Наталья. Спасибо. Thanks a lot. Now I would like to ask Olga Karach from Nasz Dom. And the next one will be Andrei Strizhak. Olga.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Olga Karach. I'm a chief of International Center for Civil Initiatives, our house. Today, Belarus is a country of high expectation and hopes, but it's also a country of deep alarm. A political tsunami is currently storming in Belarus. The political mobilization of our society is amazing and incredible. On the one hand, more and more brutal repressions are taking place. Never before have we seen such a level of horrible violence from the Belarusian authorities. Under the list of our house human rights defenders, since 1st of May, already 740 people repressed, including 141 women. Tortures, physical violence, the threat to lose job and education, to remove children from families, kidnapping people on streets. All repressed people already spent about 2,000 days in prison, including 240 people imprisoned 553 days without any court decisions. 32 people are in prison now, convicted for criminal articles, including Sergei Tikhanovsky, Nikolai Statkevich, and Viktor Babarika. Many experts speak of a repeat of 2010 in terms of opposition crackdown. But in fact, the brutality of the authorities has now outperformed than 2010. Besides repressions in 2010 started long before the elections. But despite the extent of the repressions, the huge mobilization of ordinary people at all levels, including the Belarusian diaspora, and their rapid politicization are really surprising and amazing. People turned out in the streets and stood for 5-8 hours just to put the signatures for alternative candidates, Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, Viktor Babarika, and Valery Tsevkala. It's very impressive. People don't back down. And this is something new, what is present now, but was absent in 2010 or whenever before. For the first time in our lives, we observe how Belarusians organize themselves without leaders. What is worrying now in Belarus? The appearance on the street of cities, mainly in Minsk, of guns like men who kidnap peaceful people. It's not clear whom they are subordinate and who is the people. The strong, pumped up men without any identification card kidnap people on the streets. They travel by cars without one or the same identification number, which make the identification impossible. Now the enforcers have the behavior of Ramzan Kadyrov style when they made the video of peaceful protesters after the tortures and crying and asking apologize to the video camera. Lukashenko threatens peaceful demonstrators with executions. The defense minister, Andrei Ravkov, joined the threats when he promised to use the army forces to suppress peaceful protest in Belarus. Lukashenko himself is a very serious threat for the regional security and the neighborhood of Belarus. Just for your information, Belarusian nuclear power plant is very dangerous political, ecological, and economical project of Lukashenko. What we would like to ask from you, save Belarus, but not Lukashenko. We recommend to stop walking in circle and concentrate on saving the independence of Belarus, rather than trying to save Lukashenko at all costs, because if his governments and his political games in integration with Russia pose a serious threat to the independence of Belarus as a country. We recommend to introduce personal sanctions for entry into the European Union for people implicated in election fraud and repressions of Belarus, namely for members of election commissions and enforcers. It's important to provide criteria and keep the sanction list open so that at any stage where it be possible to identify the people who were involved in repressions and falsifications. We recommend to ban importing to EU production made by violation of human rights, including the production made by hands of Belarusian prisoners. We ask you to fight together with us for the freedom of all political prisoners, but also to fight for the freedom of all prisoners in Belarus who is illegally convicted. Firstly, of course, I speak about children prisoners 328. We understand this is a very long way to democracy and the way to the respect of human rights, but we are ready to go this way together. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Olga. And now I will ask Andrzej. I will ask Andrzej Stryjak, activist from By COVID-19. Yeah, I was told that we need to move to next speaker. So if Andrei Sannikov from European Belarus would be able to take the floor, that would be great. Andrei, floor is yours.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you see me? Okay, because I cannot hear you. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank the Prime Minister Kubilus personally and organizers of this event, because it's very important for us. Also, I would like to thank all those who spoke in our support and solidarity with Belarus yesterday and today. I was thinking today that in the European Parliament, in the Council of European Union, in the European Commission, there are politicians and officials whom I have privileged to know for many years, whom I honored to know for many years, who are very well aware of the situation in Belarus, who have no illusions about the regime of Lukashenko. And somehow, after every reset, the memory files of European Union are being erased. And that's what exactly what happened in February of 2016, when European Union lifted sanctions against about 170 officials, about 170 criminals from Belarusian regime, because they were criminals and it was proven by the European Union. It couldn't be proven in Belarus, and we were grateful that the European Union interfered at that time. And when these people are pardoned, you know what happened? Very strange things are happening. That political activists, people who are legally and peacefully express their views, are being punished, are kept in prison. And those who are torturing them, who are beating them, they're being pardoned. They can travel. They can travel to Europe, like the former Interior Minister Kuleshov, or the former Interior Minister Shunevich, or the former KGB chief Zaitsev. And Statkevich and Severinets are still in prison, as they were at that time. So when European Union lifts sanctions, it means that repression becomes invisible outside Belarus. They're being ignored. They're very visible and very much felt by the families, by the political prisoners themselves, by their families, by their relatives, by their children, by their friends, but not visible outside Belarus. And it's only when Lukashenko starts beating us again, then we're noticed. You know, it's we always send a message to our friends in Europe that every softening of position on dictatorship leads to more repression inside Belarus, leads to more brutality inside Belarus. And you know, as somebody who was in prison and was saved by international sanctions. I can tell you one thing, sanctions do work. Sanctions are needed. It's not a strategy. Sanctions are not needed to map out the strategy of relationship. It is different. It is an instrument, and very effective instrument to save people's lives and to save people's health. Because don't believe that people are being kept in prison in Belarus for political reasons. They're being tortured in prisons in Belarus. They're being slowly killed in prisons in Belarus. And that's what has to be remembered, because today, what is happening today in Belarus is, you probably know, that those thugs are depriving people of food, of decent food, of sleep. They're being kept in very dirty cells without any decent sanitary conditions. They're being poisoned with chlorine. They're being deprived even of water. And as we learned from Olga Nikolaevich, who was just released, you know, they don't discriminate even these measures against women. So they add humiliation to brutality when it concerns women. So I think there is no justice in Belarus, and there is no judiciary system, as you know, and the only justice could come from international community, and namely from European Union. I have a very simple suggestion. First of all, these regimes do understand only the language of sanctions. They don't care about any other language. I have very simple and specific suggestion how to introduce sanctions without formally introducing sanctions. And I took the example of the form of US visa, and I can read you that there is a question in the US visa form that sounds like this. Have you ever committed, ordered, incited, assisted, or otherwise participated in torture? The same concerns political killings. The same concerns religious freedoms. The same provision could be introduced into the Schengen visa form concerning falsification of election. And then you have the very principled and very simple rules how to exclude these people from traveling to the free world when they are putting political prisoners in jail in Belarus. I listened very attentively yesterday to the plenary meeting. I completely agree with Prime Minister Kubilus, who named these 3 points or 3 directions: the solidarity with the citizens of Belarus, strong message to the nomenclature in Belarus, and Europe, mobilization of Europe in support of Belarus. You know, everybody in Belarus knows these words, "Живе Беларусь, long live Belarus." It's sacred words for us. I want to hear "Живе Europe." I want to hear "long live Europe." I want to hear these words in Belarus. I want to hear "long live Europe" in Belarus. So please do what you can to really provide for your own security as well. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Andrei. Thanks a lot. Really very important words. Oh, well, again, I forgot, yeah. Thanks to commander and team of Foxbox. Thanks a lot, Andrei. And now we are moving to Anton Motolka, blogger, Mola fundraising platform. Anton, please, the floor is yours.
Добрый день. Не могу включить видео почему-то. Хотел бы поблагодарить за эту возможность сказать. Я, наверное, постараюсь быть довольно краток. Вот сейчас должно быть видео, наверное. Платформа Мола — это фандрайзинговая платформа, которая позволяла собирать средства на различные инициативы, которые не нарушали законодательство Республики Беларусь. Более того, мы всегда основывались на 3 таких, на наш взгляд, важных вещах. Это прозрачность, это простота и удобство, и это скорость. За чуть более чем год работы Мола в Беларусь, нашей платформы, получилось собрать больше 500 000 евро на абсолютно различные инициативы, на помощь животным, на помощь задержанным активистам, на адвокатов. Но, наверное, самые известные кампании — это были сборы на помощь медикам во время ковида. В Беларуси более 200 тысяч долларов было собрано за эту весну различными волонтерами и передавались десятки и сотни тысяч средств индивидуальной защиты. Самый громкий случай произошел, когда медик из Лиды был уволен за то, что он выступил во время одного из стримов Сергея Тихановского у него в городе, и из-за этого руководство больницы, руководство клиники не продлило ему контракт. И люди чуть более чем за сутки собрали 20 тысяч белорусских рублей, то есть это больше, чем годовая зарплата этого медика. Новость разлетелась очень широко, и, возможно, как шутили в социальных сетях, власть испугалась той солидарности, которую она увидела. Вот это вот большое количество людей, которые действительно тысячи человек поддержали, на их взгляд, на мой взгляд тоже, незаконно уволенного сотрудника, медика, который просто говорил правду. 11 июня Белгазпромбанк, когда туда пришло руководство, назначенное руководство Национальным банком Республики Беларусь, в одностороннем порядке, нарушив все договоренности, заблокировал счета площадки и запретил проведение операций. И больше 2-3 недель нам понадобилось, чтобы узнать хотя бы причину блокировки. Буквально в понедельник мы получили письмо официальное из комитета Департамента финансового мониторинга госконтроля о том, что блокировка произошла в связи с статьей, которая подразумевает отмытие, не отмытие, а легализация средств, полученных незаконным путем, распространение оружия массового поражения и поддержку терроризма. К сожалению, наши счета до сих пор заблокированы, мы не можем рассчитаться ни с подрядчиками, ни с нашими сотрудниками, площадка все еще не работает. При этом за все это время не было ни одного требования, которое нас попросили выполнить, чтобы площадка заработала. Соответственно, довольно сложно жить в правовом государстве, вернее, в том государстве, когда ты пытаешься соблюдать все законы, а тебя не слушают или, по крайней мере, не говорят, что ты должен сделать, чтобы починить, исправить эту ситуацию и работать дальше. Я, наверное, хочу сказать одно, что белорусы действительно довольно уникальная нация. Мы вроде как никогда открыто ничего не говорим, но в один прекрасный момент объединяемся и начинаем помогать друг другу. Вот пример с коронавирусом, когда государство ушло, наверное, в такое официальное отрицание ситуации и проблемы, начало давать довольно странные цифры, с которыми довольно большое количество людей не согласно. По всей Беларуси стали появляться десятки, сотни и тысячи волонтеров, кто-то как организованные какие-то инициативы, кто-то как по одному человеку приезжали и помогали медикам, понимая, что в данный момент от государства резкой оперативной помощи они, возможно, не успеют получить. И медики очень благодарили именно вот за эту быструю и точную поддержку. Поэтому я думаю, что Беларусь, она всегда выживет, и все будет у нас хорошо. Спасибо большое.
Спасибо, Антон. Thanks a lot to Anton. And now we're moving to Enira Bronitskaya from human rights organization Human Constanta.
Hello, and thank you. First of all, Enira Bronitskaya, human rights defender from Human Constanta. First of all, I want to thank you for solidarity. As a person who was in prison, as some of other panelists today, I know that solidarity helps. Actually, it protects you. And those who are today in prisons, if it will be more support, more solidarity, more attention to these people, they will be more protected. This is the first what I want to say. At the same time, I want to raise one issue, maybe pragmatic, but I think this is an important issue. Human rights organizations, independent journalists, are groups that are mostly oppressed in Belarus. And this actually never changed during all these years. And we need solidarity, not only during crisis time. We need solidarity at other times also. Actually, in order to be efficient, to be sustainable, to be professional, to be able to help those people who will be repressed or can be repressed. We need solidarity and support before and after crisis time. And this is something that I want to raise in front of European Union, because how many human rights organizations in Belarus were supported during recent years, how much they were supported. Could it be compared to the support that state institutions received? Maybe it shouldn't be compared, but at the same time, because I mean, cooperation with authorities are important for European Union, but should it be done in compromise for human rights and human rights organizations? Because sometimes when I am communicating with some officials from delegation in Minsk, I don't feel solidarity, I don't feel support, and I feel only a bureaucratic approach, formalistic approach, and actually not desire to see real circumstances in which we are working. And I think that now these circumstances are more visible to the whole European Union. So I just want to repeat that we need support not only at crisis time in order to be able to help people. And the last issue that I want to say is actually about COVID. My organization is conducting monitoring of COVID impact on human rights in Belarus. And of course, Lukashenko already announced that we won this battle, and but of course COVID is still here, and but the question is that actually that our authorities are using this situation and manipulating with this situation now much more than even months ago, when it was, let's say, on a peak of this COVID situation. Because, for example, now we are still not inviting OEC or DIR observers to Belarus. Even citizens of 43 countries from 57 OEC participating states can already come to Belarus without any restrictions and any limitations, but they are still not invited, seems because of epidemiological situation. Another issue is actually that lawyers and relatives of those who were detained, they already face the problems of visiting detainees because of COVID, but at the same time, there were never limitations for law enforcement officials to interrogate those who were detained. And if our authorities are taking care of people and trying to protect them from COVID, why they're giving now administrative arrest to activists? Because, for example, they can fine them, and that will put them in less risk than to send them to detention centers, where, of course, much bigger risk to receive COVID in closed institution. But from last figures, around 20% of those who were repressed recently because of activists were exactly detained and not received sanctions. This is definitely a discrimination approach. And I want to take, that something, this will be taken into consideration when I'm sure the question of support and solidarity to Belarus after COVID and COVID implication will be considered. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Anira. And now I would like to ask Aisha Young from Amnesty International.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Go ahead.
Great, thank you. My name is Aisha Jung. I am the senior campaigner on Belarus at Amnesty International. I'd like to thank the organizers of the European Parliament today for the opportunity to participate in this important event, to hear and touch base with each other, and particularly with our Belarusian friends and partners, who I am simultaneously happy and very sad to see, given the predictable circumstances that bring us together again. Amnesty International is unwavering in its commitment to protecting and promoting the rights of Belarusian citizens, particularly in this time when we can confidently say the crackdown on human rights is unprecedented in its scale and severity. We've just heard the very shocking statistics from Olga Karach from Nasz Dom. The authorities in Belarus are truly creating a human rights dystopia in the heart of Europe. We are in close cooperation with our valued partners, Viasna, Nasz Dom, Charter 97, Human Constanta, Belarus Association of Journalists, and others, and we will continue to be closely working with them throughout this awful episode. We are closely following events, and we will engage at all levels and with all means we have. We are issuing public statements, urgent actions for individuals believed to be at imminent risk, media and social media output to document the egregious and brutal human rights violations currently taking place. We will be engaging our global activists to campaign and lobby their governments around the world, particularly within the EU, and to pressure the Belarusian authorities to abide by their human rights obligations, but also to know that in any event, the world is watching. We will be lobbying at IGO level, and today we have issued an oral statement at the interactive dialogue with the Special Rapporteur on Belarus at the Human Rights Council, focusing on current events, and a written brief will follow, which will also include our continuing calls for the abolition of the death penalty and the release of children sentenced to lengthy prison sentences for minor, non-violent drug-related offences under Article 328. As regards the current clampdown, we are open and willing to combine our efforts to optimize impact with other international human rights organizations and have signed the recent letter to the UN Human Rights Council from a collection of local and international human rights organizations. Our calls are as follows. We are calling for all prisoners of conscience who are facing trumped up criminal charges to be released immediately and unconditionally. We are calling for all those detained and charged under the Administrative Code to be released immediately and unconditionally. As we've heard today, they are in their hundreds. We call on Belarus to stop this current and brutal wave of detentions and arrests, including using gangs of unidentified men in plain clothes and unmarked vehicles, and to fully respect the rights to freedom of assembly, association, and expression. Until then, the rights of all detainees must be respected, and we are gravely concerned by widespread reports of harsh conditions that detainees are being subjected to. They are denied access to their lawyers, held in solitary confinement in cold cells with no running water, no mattresses, and often with no contact with their families, and refused parcels and letters. We are also aware that politically active women and women connected to political activists are being targeted with forms of harassment and intimidation specifically tailored to their vulnerabilities as women. These include threats to have their children taken into care, which is not a new tactic in Belarus, and also threats of sexual violence. We call on this to stop immediately and for Belarus to end this sinister wave of repression and fulfill their human rights obligations under international human rights law. None of us are free until we are all free. Živie Belarus, and also Živie Belarus in Europe.
Thanks a lot, Aisha. And now I'm calling Yulia Lashkevich, editor of Budzima website. Well, I do not see Yulia. Then I would like to ask if Roland Frönenstein from Martin Center from... She's here, okay.
Да, добрый день. Я хочу сразу сказать, что я ни в коем случае не являюсь редактором сайта «Будьмо белорусами». Я рекламный консультант, который принимал участие в создании ролика анимационного «Будьмо белорусами». Я была одним из инициаторов наряду с Мариной Адамович и потом при поддержке Freedom House кампании в поддержке политзаключенных в 2014 году во время чемпионата мира по хоккею. Я хотела бы продолжить то, что говорила Мира, так получилось, потому что вчера мне пришлось, я слушала интервью с координатором штаба Виктора Бабарыка Марией Колесниковой, которая несколько раз во время интервью сказала о том, что 26 лет здесь ни у кого не было надежды, 26 лет здесь ничего не происходило. В видео, которое вы смотрели перед началом нашей дискуссии, молодая девушка сказала, что белорусы вы всегда боялись. Мягко скажем, это не так, это неправда, и в этом есть определенная проблема, потому что Беларусь – это не комета, которая раз в 5 лет вдруг появляется на вашем небосклоне. Мы существуем все время, мы есть все время. И мы должны говорить о том, что сейчас выросло не просто поколение, которое никогда не видело ничего, кроме правления Лукашенко, но они уже растят своих детей. И, к сожалению, мы видим, что в обществе утрачен момент критичности, аналитики и, к сожалению, возможно, рефлексии. Елена Тонкачева, наш правозащитник, в свое время говорила о том, как опасно отсутствие полной, хорошей, продуманной рефлексии после 2010 года. И мы сейчас видим то, что, вы знаете, сейчас вот есть такое поколение рекомендаций, как на YouTube, и люди не знают, что было в 2010 году. Первым это очень хорошо понял блогер Некто, и он выпустил видео про Лукашенко, которое показало огромный разрыв, потому что для одного поколения это известные факты, для другого поколения эти факты оказались абсолютно неизвестными. Если меня спрашивают в чате молодых реформаторов, кто такой Зубр, я не могу им даже сказать погуглите, потому что они не найдут. И эта ситуация у нас нет репутации, у нас нет понятия, что такое оппозиция. Существует какой-то фантом, да, то есть годно, будем белорусами, вместе с Азией проводят опрос, и БНФ по-прежнему самая узнаваемая организация, причем что она в стагнации 10 лет. И это приводит к тому, что люди, которые ставят сердечки и пишут о том, что мы не должны бояться, возмущаются тому, что северинец приходит на пикеты и выступает против выборов, хотя им говорят, ну как же, он имеет право на это. Это его право и его свобода. Но нет, мы так не хотим. И мне кажется очень важным то, что мы все время говорим, что будет 9 августа, что будет после. Но на самом деле нам нужно очень сильно анализировать то, что происходит уже сейчас. Потому что сейчас и благодаря коронавирусу, и благодаря тому, что стало больше визуального взаимодействия. Понимаете, когда в 2010 году сажали Дашкевича, люди не видели, за что его посадили. Они могли предполагать, что, возможно, справедливо, несправедливо. Но сейчас они видят, как сажают Тихановского, и они видят прямо сейчас в прямом эфире то, что это провокация. Вот эта сильная визуальная сопричастность очень много меняет. Мы видим, как распространяются новости. Мы видим, как люди реагируют на брос, например, с целью поиграть на гомофобии, как было в отношении одного из кандидатов. И видим, что люди на это не реагируют. Это очень интересно. Я хотела бы сказать, что очень важно, что мы не должны оказываться в фокусе внимания только тогда, когда у нас появляются политзаключенные. Потому что они у нас так и будут появляться только если на нас обращать внимание только в этот момент. Ведь нарушения на выборах начались не тогда, когда у нас арестовали первых людей, а тогда, когда Павел Белоус не мог за свои деньги поставить борд в центре города, когда мы не можем зарегистрировать организации, когда мы не можем выйти в эфир, и «Живой Беларусь» считается, боже мой, крамолой. Это дико, да? Поэтому мое обращение это в том, что мы существуем все время, и мы нуждаемся в этой аналитике. Когда эта аналитика сейчас появилась, она очень востребована. Как наша внутренняя, мы не можем обойтись одним Сергеем Чалым, так и та, которая внешняя. Спасибо большое.
Спасибо, Юлия. Thanks a lot. And we're coming to the end of second part. And that was the part when we were able to listen to Belarusian people, to leaders of civic organizations who represent, according to the opinion polls which we have seen, more than 50% of Belarusian people who are demanding change in Belarus. And I think that this is the biggest difference if you compare Belarus of today with the Belarus of yesterday or day before yesterday. So that is really very important, even for Belarusian people, to understand that majority of them are demanding change. And that is very important also for European Union and for us to understand that we are in solidarity with majority of Belarusian people. And before finishing this second part, I would like to ask if Roland Freudenstein is present from... Roland Freudenstein is one of strongest experts on geopolitics and in general on the whole European politics from Martin Center for European Studies, think tank in Brussels. Roland, are you here?
Yes. Can you also see me?
Yes.
Start my video. Okay. All right. Andrius, thank you so much. Hello to everyone. I'm humbled and I'm impressed by the accounts that we had in the last hour. And I'm also impressed by the fighting spirit of our Belarusian friends. You know, as Ronald Reagan once said, freedom is never more than a generation away from extinction. So, you know, that means that there is no fundamental separation between the struggle of Belarus and our attempts to preserve liberal democracy in our countries. Your struggle is our struggle. And you know, I'm perfectly aware that I'm the last element between you and some more very, very good rock music, which I appreciated already in the very beginning. Partly also because many of the singers had the same hairstyle as me. So let me just make this one point about EU policy. I think the European Union needs to become much more robust about standing up for its principles. You know, rhetorically, we're always good at defending our values, claiming that our values have to be, universal values have to be part of our relations with other countries, with third countries. But we're pretty weak in actually putting conditionality into our relations with other countries. And I think we have to be much more robust. The kowtowing to authoritarian governments has to stop. We have seen this in the corona pandemic with the People's Republic of China, for example, and it cannot continue. When we have instruments to push back against authoritarian leaders, we have to use them. And that is why I totally agree with my colleagues here from Brussels and with also our Belarusian friends who all demand that the European Union has to use sanctions against individuals who are complicit in or instrumental to oppression in countries like Belarus. So we need some kind of European Magnitsky Act. It should be a universal attempt to enable the EU to quickly enact such sanctions whenever we see that a group of persons can be directly targeted, a group of persons that has been involved in acts of oppression. So I think that's all I really want to say here. We've reached 3 p.m. and yeah, I want to end with a big appeal to the European Union to be stronger in pushing back against autocrats. And Żywiec Europejska Belarus. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Really, and that is very strong words to end the second part of our solidarity action, solidarity event. Now we are moving to the third part, which really is very important, because again, I can repeat what I said at the very beginning. In Lithuania, in the Baltic states, our revolution started with rock music. And rock stars really were among the leaders of our revolution for democracy, for independence, and human rights. So now, really, we shall have very interesting conversation among, rock stars, from Belarus, and also Algirdas Kaušpėdas from Lithuania, who was and is leading rock star from Lithuania, besides being architect, very famous architect, and also one of the leaders of Lithuanian reform movement initiators back in the end of 1980s. But first of all, let the music speak. Levon Volsky video, for the very beginning.
Я Левон Вольскі. Я вядомы ў Беларусі музык. Мяне ведаюць з канца 80-х гадоў мінулага стагоддзя. Я быў у чорных спісах двойчы у 2004-2008 і з 2010 па 2017. Гэта болей за 10 гадоў. Падчас другой забароны нельга было выступаць нават у маленькіх кавярнях.